Welcome to Good Thing, Bad Thing. I am JABY KOAY. Subbing in for Sintel is Ryan Wright.
Hello, my name is Ryan Wright.
And Jessica.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jessica.
Jessica is a hardcore chick gamer.
What?
And completely blows me out of the water when she shows up talking about how she used to play on 5.5-inch floppy disk games and DOS and whatnot.
5.5 inches. I know what that's like.
So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is binge watching. Do you guys binge watch ever?
All the time.
Yeah. Now, how do you guys feel about binge watching?
I enjoy binge watching because I can get all of my story right there in one cut.
Right.
It's something like Game of Thrones, maybe not possible to binge watch. I mean, you could, but technically you could. It would be taking you probably a couple weeks.
Right.
But I like watching shorter series like True Detective or Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Something that I can physically.
That's a really short series. It only lasted 5 seasons.
Well, it's not as long as Game of Thrones. There's
Right.
a lot of stuff there.
Right.
But something like True Detective, I can watch it all in one sitting, and it's over and I'm done with.
Right.
And
What happened to me was I was having a conversation with someone, and this came up, and I realized that binge watching is actually a very negative thing. And the reason why is because we don't have time to just state the show anymore. We don't have time to just let it sit with us and think about it and then talk to your friends about oh my God, did you see what happened in that last episode? And then pick it up where you left off in the next episode. That is gone, and it's gone for good. Now you binge watch and you can't even appreciate what's going on because it goes by so quick. You don't even remember individual parts anymore. All you remember is the general feeling of the show, oh, that was good. And then you tell your friend, hey, I just finished watching the entirety of Breaking Bad over the weekend. Really? Did you like it? Yep. And the conversation's over, right? You're not talking about specifics anymore because everyone's just binge watching and trying to power through everything as fast as possible.
Yeah, it feels like what people only talk about with shows tends to be the season finale of any show. With The Walking Dead, you could binge watch that show now, but what people will talk about is the latest season that aired in the final episode. But they're not really going to talk about the journey and everything. So I can see, it depends on the show that you're binge watching. If you're binge watching a half-hour comedy, I think that's okay. But if you're binge watching a show where each episode, such as Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, are all each episode is so much work put into just one 45 minutes to 60-minute episode, and then we don't get to really let it sink in and appreciate it.
Right.
So I could see how binge watching could be a con, but then at the same time, we have access to binge watching like never before.
Right. Right.
There was a time where you couldn't binge watch, and
Right.
then they started releasing seasons on DVDs, and then you were like, oh, wow, you can get a season of Friends on DVD? Yeah.
That's right. I still disagree even with the half-hour sitcom thing because, you've been to comedy shows that last 3 hours long. By that last half hour, by that last set, it's
Yeah, you stop laughing. And I know that feeling where it's I've been binge watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. I realized I didn't finish the last 2 seasons. So I've been watching that again, and I can see how after an hour to 2 hours of watching it,
Yeah.
I'm starting to go in my head that's funny, but I'm not actually laughing out loud anymore, you know? So I know what you mean by that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only one show I think that people should binge watch. Only one. And that's 24. That's the only show I think people should, because it's called 24. It's supposed to take place over the course of a day. Obviously, it's not actually 24 hours, but it teases you with that ending. It's bullshit, but they tease you with that ending because the whole episode could be crap, but the very end is a cliffhanger, and you're like, I can't go on with my life until I've watched the next episode. And so I believe in powering through 24, but everything else, you need that time to let it simmer a little bit. But that's just me.
I think there are certain people that can binge watch and certain people that should not binge watch. People that have that addiction gene where they just go and go and go. There's a great clip in Portlandia where this couple decides to watch Battlestar Galactica, and they're like, okay, we have to work tomorrow. And then they're like, okay, just a couple more. And then all of a sudden they've binge watched it for a couple weeks, and then they don't pay their electricity bill. They forget to eat. There's some people that just shouldn't binge watch because then they'll lose control. They'll lose control of their whole entire lives.
Yeah.
It's oh, I don't have to feed the dog. I don't. They just sit there and they're glued to the television.
Shower? What's a shower? Who needs shower?
it's hard not to binge watch sometimes, like especially with these Netflix and Hulu series that come out where they're like, we're going to release a whole season with all the episodes at once. The first Netflix show I watched all the way through was actually Arrested Development that last season, but the original one was Daredevil. And I took my time with Daredevil. You know, like I have a YouTube channel and fans on the channel, like the day it came out were like, yeah, I saw all the episodes. It's great. But I took my time with it because I'm like, each episode is directed differently and sort of told differently. And I like to absorb that and really appreciate it rather than just skimming through the whole series. And storytelling is so much about the details. And then when you forget details, the show is just, it comes down to a simple opinion.
Just washes over you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's good or bad, and that's it. But rather than appreciating every fact of it.
I think Daredevil is, not to get off topic, but I think Daredevil is hands down the best comic book adaptation that's out there right now. Just the best. Have you seen Daredevil?
I haven't seen Daredevil
It is the best. And I think the reason it's the best is because it allows consequences to simmer. Like there's a whole episode of Daredevil just fucked up. He's just like, he's damaged from the night before. And I'm like, where else would you be able to just watch your main character be destroyed for an hour? You can't. No, there's no other. But the very first, going back to Netflix, the very first show that did that really like promoted this idea of just, here's your season. Is House of Cards.
House of Cards, yeah.
And I binge watched the hell out of that, and it's after it's over, it's like, what do I do with my life?
What do I do next?
It's like an empty feeling you get. Yeah.
It's a very depressing feeling, in my opinion. That's why I think it's better to just spread it out.
Space them out. Yeah. It's like I was a huge Lost fan, and the best part, I know. The best part.
I know. I'm awful. Don't
I'm awful
judge
human
me.
being. The best part of that was, you know, and it's also kind of cliche and cheesy because this was kind of the ending of the show, spoiler alert, but it's all about the community that you're watching the show with. So, you know, it was always every week, you know, my friends would come over and we just get together and we'd be able to pause it and stop it and like talk about it and talk about what we think are going to happen and talk about the theories that we think are going to happen. And so it was fun to be able to talk about that for a week.
You don't get that feeling with other shows because Lost was like every commercial break you were like, what? Oh, God, no, I don't know what's going on anymore, but I still want to know.
And then one of your friends would like bring up some random thing that you forgot that was seasons ago. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do a show like Lost anymore, at least on like something like a streaming network like Netflix or something, because all that intrigue and mystery and the questions and debates is what built up Lost so much, and what made Lost work was, like what you were saying, the interaction with your friends about, you know, coming up with theories of what the show is about and what it's not about and what the reveals are going to be. Now, when you binge watch, it's like all that fun goes away.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, not to be an old man on a soapbox, but I think that everything is kind of driving us more and more towards this kind of isolation. Even with like online gaming, I have a huge problem with the lack of couch co-op. The lack of couch co-op just being online gaming, and then the binge watching, the phones now, everything is driving us towards this isolated thing. It's like we're all connected, but we're so alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's like even with Periscope too. It's like you're not sitting there really engaging with the people because you can't see them.
Right.
But they're in the room with you. It's very odd. It's a very weird voyeur thing.
It feels kind of perverse, right?
Yeah, it does feel perverse. Like I'm like, why am I watching this person clip their toenails? This is weird. Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've seen that on Periscope.
That is disgusting. Oh my God. Okay. So, did you have a bad thing or a good thing you wanted to?
Something I wanted to bring up, because my YouTube channel is primarily based off reviewing trailers. And, you know, a lot of people say this, they've been saying this for years, but it seems to just be getting worse and worse. It's like a teaser trailer for me can sometimes be so good.
Yeah.
I don't need to see an official theatrical trailer, or sometimes if one trailer, I'm like, good enough for me. And then they start releasing like 3 more when it's not necessary. And then before you know it, you're able to put the whole movie together in your head.
Yes.
Before you even catch the film. And it's kind of weird. It's like the last big complaint I heard of a trailer was Terminator Genesis, where they revealed that John Connor is a Terminator. And
yes.
And then I saw the movie and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen for like an hour into the film. So it is a pretty big spoiler in it. And then I was watching the Suicide Squad Comic-Con trailer and I was like, they show that Batman makes an appearance in it. And I'm like, why? From a marketing perspective, I can see how that could hook you, but it's also very misleading when it's an Easter egg like Batman, because they try to like manipulate the audience into thinking that, oh, Batman's going to be in it for a good amount of time, but he's not.
Right. Well, with that trailer specifically, I I don't know all that much about Suicide Squad. So when I was watching it, that was the only thing that intrigued me. Because everything else in the trailer, I'm like, okay, there's stuff happening. They're all weird characters. I don't know why I should watch this movie until Batman showed up. I'm like, oh, Batman's in this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out.
But I remember watching the Edward Norton version of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh my God, are you really bringing that up?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that movie, and I remember when the trailer came out, they showed the final scene when Tony Stark appears. And they're trying to be like, Tony Stark's in this movie.
Yeah.
And then they showed the whole scene in the trailer. So,
wow.
That's terrible.
So I feel like trailers can be much better. Like, I think when Nolan is involved in a trailer, or J.J. Abrams is involved in a trailer, when these directors / producers get involved in their own movies for the marketing, they know how to hook an audience without giving away what the film's actually about. And I feel like that could be what happened to making a trailer and having it be intriguing and hooking you and teasing you.
Right. And
then you go to the movie. Now it's like, let's show you the whole movie, and then you decide before whether or not you like it already.
Right. I think there's a balance to be struck. There's two ways that they go about doing trailers nowadays. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. It started with Amityville Horror, the Michael Bay produced one, I think. He did an Amityville Horror movie. Okay. And what happened was...
He did Amityville Horror?
I think he did... I don't know. I could be wrong.
Texas Chainsaw on Friday.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not Amityville. You corrected me.
But you are talking about the Amityville remake.
No, I'm talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So in the trailer, that was the very first trailer I ever saw where they did the blinky effect. The brrr, like, and I'm like, or actually, yeah, exactly. They did the freeze frame and it went dark. And after that, every single trailer after that started going black throughout the trailer.
The bong sound.
And I'm like, why does it keep going black? What's going on? I don't get this. Just show me what's going on. And we did a reaction to the Witch trailer. And I was complaining that I had no idea what was going on. And someone, I don't know if he was a troll or just someone complaining, but in the comments, this guy was like, you don't want a trailer to show everything. This is a perfect trailer. It gave me the tone of the movie. I'm like, that's not enough to hang my hat on when there's so much good content out there. Yeah. So I agree with you. Trailers are giving away too much, but they need to give away something. Because with so much to watch, especially with like what we were talking about with binge watching, every movie coming out is amazing now. You know, every show coming out is amazing now. So how do you know what you're going to spend a considerable amount of your time on? Back in like the 50s, you had I Love Lucy. That was it. That was the show. Now everything is I Love Lucy, so to speak, in terms of that level of grandiose and production value and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so it has to find a way. I think trailers do need improvement. That it's got to like have a balance of, okay, here's some of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But not everything.
I mean, show us like a setup and like maybe some of the beginning of Act 2. But other than that, like kind of leave the rest a mystery, in my opinion.
And it's also dangerous with horror movies. It's like you don't want to show me all those jump scares because then I'm anticipating those jump scares. And I know the scene, you know? And it's like I don't want to know when I'm going to be scared.
It's like I'm back and forth on this whole trailer thing because now we get these red band trailers, which are awesome because if there's a movie that's full of swearing and violence, you get to get a little sneak peek at that. So you're like, okay, yeah, this is what it's really going to be like. Because a green band can't show you that style.
Right.
So red bands can be cool. But
yeah,
I don't know. I got to disagree with you about The Witch, actually.
You like the trailer?
I like the trailer a lot. Yeah, it's not telling you exactly what the story is about. But the tone
I got nothing. I'm like, there are people and there are scare tactics. There are cliche scare tactics happening. I don't know why I should watch this.
But it's not full of like jump scares. I kind of got to agree with the subscriber or fan who like interacted with you about it because I like the fact that they show you tone and style and how there's like eerie suspense and they let the camera go on. Like that trailer was interesting because they let shots linger in a trailer, which they normally don't. It's usually cut. Yes. So I liked how they did that, showing you like this isn't going to be your typical horror film with jump scares. I don't think there's even one jump scare in that trailer.
There is when the baby disappears.
That's not really a jump scare. It's more of a scary reveal.
Just a little bit more would have been cool. Just a little bit of why am I watching this movie?
See, that's where it gets conflicting because a lot of movies are made now just for trailers as well. Those money shots.
Yeah.
I read a couple books
this
about
your opinion? Is this your opinion or is this like you've got like evidence to back this up?
Well, no, I mean like I've read books that talk about it and like I remember one book specifically was Save the Cat and they were using a lot of examples as to how they they try to incorporate these money shots and moments. That way, when they pitch the script or when the producers are thinking of it being sold, they're like, okay, where are the scenes that we can show in the trailer to really sell the audience? So I feel like a lot of movies are made just for cool trailers.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, once they have your money, when you're in that seat,
yeah,
that's it.
That's all that matters.
You can't return it.
Yeah, because most movies make their profit.
Actually, you can. If you go to AMC,
Yeah.
if it's within the first half hour, you can go, this movie sucks, I want my money back.
Oh, I should have done that with Woman of Black.
Yeah, but most people will give more than a half hour to a movie.
I've seen it happen though. I've watched a guy go back to give his money back, and the woman is like, "Wow, you're like right on the money." That 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
So let's break away from this topic. Let's go on to. Did you have something you want to talk about?
No,
nothing specific.
With that, no.
Well, there's something I wanted to ask you about because you are a hardcore chick gamer.
Yeah.
First, let's dissect that word. I want to talk about that first off.
I cringe.
Do you feel like that phrase is sexist?
In a way, I think that there's probably a little bit of a hang up on what a female gamer is. A hardcore female gamer, you would think, okay, they're playing, first person shooters or what have you. But a female gamer can encompass a lot of things. A female gamer could just be playing, Barbie horse adventures, or they could be playing Plants versus Zombies,
Yeah.
And it's a grand scale, but it's just like, why are we segregating females from males again?
Right.
Why do we have to prove we can also game too? I think it should be equal, and it should be a whole community thing, and girls and guys should be able to play together and not like, what bugs me a lot is I go onto Twitch and it's like half the girls that are on there, they've got their boobs hanging out, and they're just like, I'm a gamer, and then they're just sitting there clicking on Leagues of Legends,
As they shake their boobs.
or they shake their boobs, and I'm like, this is horrible, because when I play video games, I'm in my sweatpants, like just lounging and stuff, and it's just like I feel like they're getting dolled up and ready to talk to boys, and it's like this. It's just so weird.
They're on
it's
camera.
Like,
I mean, of course they're going to be dolled up, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest. This is the sexist part of my brain. When I think of a chick gamer, I don't think of you. I don't think of like a beautiful woman who is like super hardcore into games. I think of like a fat chick who smells and eats Cheetos while she's playing Halo.
Right.
Or something like that. Like, that's what pops up into my head.
Right.
And what the internet tries to push forward are these chicks who are like squeezing their tits together while they're playing
video games
that you like.
Yeah.
Boys.
And it's also obnoxious too when you have girls that are just like, I'm a female gamer, and it's like, okay, what do you play? And they're like, oh, I click through League of Legends, or I click through Diablo or whatever, and I'm like, that's cool, but
bitches.
you have to have a whole range. I think you should be able to. Yeah, you can play the kid games, or you can play some mature games. It just irks me that that's the whole Twitch universe now for girls. It's like, why do they have to sit there and just create some sort of fantasy again? And it's just like, why don't they just be themselves? That's just what bothers me about it. Just be yourself. Don't create this whole fantasy so that guys and pervs can come into your chat room and just kind of Google at you and give you, stuff off your Amazon wish list or whatever. Just be yourself.
Right. Going back to the beginning of this, when the default sex in your brain when you say gamer is a guy, do you think saying chick gamer should be banned the way calling something that you don't like gay is kind of banned now? It's not PC. You can't go, that's gay anymore because that's offensive. Do you think the phrase chick gamer should be considered offensive?
No, I don't think it's offensive. It is when it's used to promote something. Like if you were to go onto Twitch and you saw gay gaming and then it's just a bunch of gay guys, it's like, okay, well, that's their thing.
That's what I want to see.
But
making out while they play Halo.
It shouldn't be the end all or be all, because you should be going there for their personalities. You should be going to that chick gamer for her personality and not this end all or be all like, oh, this is a hot chick. So I don't know. It's a fine line that you kind of have to walk around on that one. But I don't mind being a chick gamer. Like if someone said, oh yeah, you're the chick gamer, cool.
Yeah.
Like at least you're recognizing me. At least you're interested in me. But usually what's going to drive me to a conversation is somebody who is talking to me about what games I've played and, oh, it was funny when you did this, or what have you. It's annoying when people are like, oh, you're just that chick gamer and that's all you are.
Right, when they put you in a lower class because of that.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So the follow-up question I have is Anita Sarkeesian full of shit? The whole Gamergate. Do you know what Gamergate is?
Nope.
I mean, excuse me, we're going to redact that. Do you know what Gamergate is, Ryan?
Yes, Anthony, I do.
Give us a short rundown of Gamergate, if you would.
Oh, no, you do it.
I don't know that well. Like, I just know that... Well, Anita, I have a very
basically she has a problem with just everything, you know, like how the way that video game characters are portrayed,
right?
Especially females, you know, like Dead Alive Volleyball
Grand
or whatever.
Theft Auto is a perfect
Grand Theft
example.
Auto, where the girls in that are all dressed skimpily and they have like, you know, their boobs hanging out and stuff like that. But I disagree with her. I feel like she's not a hardcore enough gamer, because there are great games that have great female storyline, like driven storyline. Like if you play the Mass Effect game series and you had the option to be Commander Shepard as a woman or as a chick, they're still both tough characters. They don't dull down that woman character or that woman lead. It's not like her boobs are like hanging out, you know, like Commander Shepard's not like a completely different person, but Anita drives me kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know why, but
so because the whole thing that is being pushed in my perspective is this idea that women are being, not just the games itself, but women are being bashed while they're playing games for being women. Like if you go into an online chat room or an online game of some kind, they're being called whores and sluts, and they want to get fucked in the ass, and like all these kind of very vulgar things. And I'm thinking, when I see that, that is atrocious, but that's no different in my mind than what a guy would tell another guy while he's playing, you know, Halo Online or something like that. I feel like guys would say the same thing to each other to make them feel less.
I'm always called a whore and a slut.
Yeah, no, you are in a man's world, you have to toughen up.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to be able to dish it back. I mean, that's part of the whole internet community too, as well. Like, you know, you get comments on your YouTube videos, and it's just like horrible, horrible stuff, and people hide behind that wall of animosity or
anonymity.
Yes,
anonymity.
thank you.
Animosity and anonymity.
Animosity and anonymity.
Yes.
But they can type whatever they want on the internet, and you have to be able to defend yourself, and you have to be able to stick up for yourself. And I think that there are girls out there that can't, and so that's why their, you know, Twitch channels or their YouTube channels usually crash and burn. But if you're able to dish it out just as tough as the guys, because you are in a guy world, they are going to respect you.
Yeah.
You know, and then they won't dish it out as much. You know, you won't get called whore and slut and stuff, because the people will start respecting you.
Right.
So it's all about gaining that trust and gaining that respect.
Do you think it's like a larger problem here, though, that like guys feel compelled to speak that way, or we should just accept that? That's just how it is. You know, we shouldn't teach our children any differently.
I mean, yeah, it's all about how you're raised, you know, and if you respect, you know, women or what have you. But I think that is the way it is.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it.
There's nothing we can do about it. I think that, you know, women just kind of have to toughen up.
So it's either tough up or get the fuck out.
Tough up or get the fuck out. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that your feeling?
Yeah. Women should grow some balls and just really fight that. I mean, on my YouTube channel, I notice every woman that comments, even if they don't like the video or don't like me, they take a much nicer approach than any of the guys would.
Yeah.
The guys are always like, the things some of the people say on the internet to you, it's like, you could go to jail if you said that to me in person. You know?
Yeah, you know, there's two things that happen on the YouTube. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I had KOAY next to me in the Uncharted trailer reaction, and some guy said something, and he was just trying to get under my skin, but he said something to the effect of, I would fuck your daughter.
Oh, that's horrible.
And it's like, why would you say that? Why would you say that to me? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
And, you know, everybody on the internet, they think they're a comedian, and sometimes it doesn't come across that way. Like, it's not funny, you know? And
a comedian and a detective. You got this wrong. And then you'll see the same comment over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like, stop, enough, you know? Like, be nice.
My thing that confuses me is, what are you trying to gain?
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, are you trying to be funny? Is that what it is? Because there's this is a weird analogy, but like in high school, sometimes you'd find these coins on the floor, and someone would try to pick it up, but it was glued to the floor, so you couldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but like the guy who did that can't possibly laugh at it because he's not there.
Yeah.
You know, and so what's your end goal here? Like, are you even considering that at all? It's irritating. We got kind of into a weird territory here. But I guess it's still in line with what we're talking about, that women are just treated differently on... Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry. Phone. Keep going.
Or women are just treated differently online.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I don't know why, and I don't know how do you change that, really? You know, like, I think that's just the nature of people. And, you know, if we were, you know, maybe raised differently as children, I don't know how you could go about that, because schools pretty much, I imagine, teach respect at very young ages. I don't know how you change the chemistry of your brain where men are going to treat women entirely different You know, like,
is that a chemical? Is that a chemistry thing?
It might be.
Do you think is that deep rooted? Because it's like, what if in schools they taught men don't do this, boys can't do this. This is wrong. You don't rape. You don't call at women. You have to respect them, and women just the same towards men. Like, what if that was integrated into the school system? That it's never going to happen. But if it was, like. Is it going to be a thing where we're fighting our chemical?
Do we need to teach social media etiquette in schools? I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's totally necessary in this day and age with the growing popularity of. It's not even like you can't even call it a growing popularity. It just is part of our culture.
Yeah.
It's so integrated into our culture. Every movie poster you see has the T for Twitter and the F for Facebook and whatnot.
Yeah, and I remember growing up when we took computer classes, all the teachers were like, you know, don't talk in caps or don't type in caps because it looks like you're yelling, you know? Like, maybe we need to go more extensively into that, you know? Like, just talk about social etiquette and what to say and what not to say. Maybe that would change things. That's actually a good idea. Maybe a class should be offered, you know, in high school, social media etiquette. It's our entire lives. We're completely linked now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I see it all the time because I think about real life as opposed to what people are saying online, you know, like weird things. You know, I'll meet people who are like, I'm not racist. I just don't like black people. And I'm like, what? That makes you a racist then if you say that. Or like, I'm a Christian. I just don't believe that, you know, I think gay people are going to hell, but I got no problem with gay people. I'm like, but you just said that you think they're all going to hell, you know? And but I notice these people will say this in privacy, but when they're online, because of, what was the fancy word you guys said? Anonymity. Yeah. Because when you're like that, that's when you can be, I feel like people have
quite the linguist there, right?
I feel like people have a lot of negative thinking and a lot of personal kind of racial or homophobic point of views. And especially with the internet, you're dealing not with just America, you're dealing on a global level of other countries that are like, because like in America, gay marriage is legal in all 50 states now. But in some countries that, you know, I have subscribers from, gay people are totally not accepted still over there. So you're going to get like the comments of like, you're a fag, you're gay, all these like really homophobic slurs. So it's like if we were to integrate, you know, social media etiquette, it would have to be a global thing as opposed to just one country doing it.
It's almost like they just want to like get it all out. And it's like this big, huge pimple and it's just like pus coming everywhere where it's just like, oh, we're just expelling all this hate and stuff that we're keeping inside in our cultures, you know, that we're just like, you know, we're walking around. We might have a country where women are completely covered up. And then those people don't experience, you know, someone that's showing their boobs or is half naked on Periscope, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like they get excited or, you know, they might be saying some hateful things to that person because that's not what they're used to in their society.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's like expelling a wound. It's just like they need to get it out, and it's almost therapeutic maybe for them online, but it's so hateful and it's there forever. It's like permanent.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do with all these, you know, messages of hate? Like I always think about this, it's really, really off topic, but what if, you know, aliens came down and like looked at maybe the Earth is entirely gone, you know, and we're all dead. What if aliens came down and they get like an old YouTube like comment chat log and it's just like hate. I'm like, what are they gonna think about our culture? You know,
right?
It's just kind of embarrassing. You know, just
well, hopefully they would be able to discover the commentary on our culture and us saying that very thing, you know. Looking at ourselves, because we do reflect a lot in that respect, and I think that would be part of the history, that would be part of what's being documented, because like you said, everything's online forever, including those conversations. Yeah. But they might get buried underneath all the hate.
All the hate, yeah.
You know.
Aliens come to this planet, you gotta kill them.
Yeah. You know, that would change.
I'm hoping the alien attack that happens is going to be like Mars attacks, where it's just like they come down, we give them the peace dove, and then they just blow it into smithereens. But, you know. That's
actually, you know, it's funny you should say that, because that's the kind of thing we need as a species in order to unite, is like aliens coming wanting to kill us. Because then we would come together. Someone has said it to me the other day, and I'm like that makes a lot of sense.
Like the movie Independence Day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what needs to happen. Yes. Aliens, wherever you are, just come down.
What I realized was, and my counterpoint to what that person told me was, we kind of have that, and it was of our own making. It's global warming. When global warming is bad enough that Los Angeles is under the water, and New York and Florida's under the water, and India's gone, like, when it's that bad, people are going to come together. Believe me, they will come together fast. And it's not to stop it, because you can't, but you can slow it down.
Yeah.
And that's what our efforts are going to be. And for a time, it will be nice until we find things to fight about again.
So we just need global
We need global
destruction.
We need to let the Republicans do what they want so they can advance global warming, and then we'll come together and fight it off.
Oh, wow.
You know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So anyway, on that note, let's close this up. Any last thoughts?
Be nice online, please. like Bambi when Thumper comes up and says, "Treat everybody just like you want to be treated." Do that, guys. Twitch, YouTube, everything.
Forgive Mel Gibson.
Forgive Mel Gibson. Okay, so real quick though, your Twitter is, can you spell
My
it?
Twitter is Metal Jess. That's metal with a 3, and we'll link to it.
Thank you guys for listening, and comment below. I am JABY KOAY.
I'm Jessica Blum.
Hello, I'm Ryan Wright.
And peace out.